Eve Arden was an American film, radio, stage, television actress, and comedian. She performed in leading and supporting roles for nearly 6 decades. Beginning her film career in 1929 and on Broadway in the early 1930s, Arden's first major role was in the RKO Radio Pictures drama Stage Door opposite Katharine Hepburn, followed by roles in the comedies Having Wonderful Time and in the Marx Brothers at the Circus. She received an Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actress for her role in Mildred Pierce. Later in her career, Arden played the sardonic but engaging high school teacher in the eponymous Miss Brooks, for which she won the first Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Lead Actress in a Drama Series. She also played the school principal in the musicals Grease and Grease 2. Early life. Eve Arden was born Eunice Mary Cadens on April 30, 1908, in Mill Valley, California, to Charles Peter Cadens, the son of Charles Henry Augustus Cadens and Eunice Meta Dirks, and Lucille Frank, the daughter of Bernard Frank and Louisa Mertens. Lucille, a milliner, divorced Charles over his gambling and went into business for herself. Although not Roman Catholic, young Eunice was sent to a Dominican convent school in San Rafael, California. She then attended Tamil Pius High School, a public high school in Mill Valley, until age 16. After leaving school, she joined the stock theater company of Henry Terry Duffy. Career. Film. She made her film debut under her real name in the backstage musical Song of Love, as a wisecracking, home-wrecking showgirl who becomes a rival to the film's star, singer Belle Baker. The film was one of Columbia Pictures' earliest successes. In 1933, she relocated to New York City, where she had supporting parts in multiple Broadway stage productions. In 1934, she was cast in the Ziegfeld Follies Revue, the first role where she was credited as Eve Arden. When she was told to adopt a stage name for the show, Arden looked at her cosmetics and stole my first name from Evening in Paris, and the second from Elizabeth Arden. Between 1934 and 1941, she appeared in Broadway productions of Parade, Very Warm for May, Two for the Show, and Let's Face It. Arden's film career began in earnest in 1937 when she signed a contract with RKO Radio Pictures and appeared in the films Oh Doctor and Stage Door. Her stage door portrayal of a fast-talking, witty supporting character gained Arden considerable notice and was a template for many of Arden's future roles. In 1938, she played a supporting part in the comedy Having Wonderful Time, starring Ginger Rogers and Lucille Ball. This was followed by roles in the crime film The Forgotten Woman, and the Marx Brothers comedy At the Circus, a role that required her to perform acrobatics. In 1940, she appeared opposite Clark Gable in Comrade X, followed by the drama Manpower opposite Marlene Dietrich. She also had a supporting part in the Red Skelton comedy Whistling in the Dark and the romantic comedy Obliging Young Lady. Her many memorable screen roles include a supporting role as Joan Crawford's wisecracking friend in Mildred Pierce, for which she received an Academy Award nomination as Best Supporting Actress, and as James Stewart's wistful secretary in Otto Preminger's Mystery Anatomy of a Murder. In 1946, exhibitors voted her the 6th most promising star of tomorrow. Arden became familiar to a new generation of filmgoers when she played Principal McGee in Grease and Grease 2. Arden was known for her deadpan comedic delivery. Radio and television. Arden's ability with witty scripts made her a natural talent for radio. She was a regular on Danny Kaye's short-lived but memorably zany comedy variety show in 1946, which also featured swing band leader Harry James and gravel-voiced character actor-comedian Lionel Stander. Kaye's show lasted 1 season, but Arden's comic talent led to her best-known role, that of Madison High School English teacher Connie Brooks in Our Miss Brooks. Arden portrayed the character on radio from 1948 to 1957, in a television version of the program from 1952 to 1956, and in a 1956 feature film. Her character clashed with the school's principal, Osgood Conklin, and nursed an unrequited crush on fellow teacher Philip Boynton. Except for Chandler, the entire radio cast of Arden, Gordon, Richard Crenna, Robert Rockwell, Gloria McMillan and Jane Morgan played the same roles on TV. Arden's portrayal of Miss Brooks was so popular that she was made an honorary member of the National Education Association, received a 1952 award from the Teachers College of Connecticut's Alumni Association for humanizing the American teacher, and even received teaching job offers. Her wisecracking, deadpan character ultimately became her public persona as a comedian. She won a listeners' poll by Radio Mirror magazine as the top-ranking comedian of 1948 to 1949, receiving her award at the end of an Our Miss Brooks broadcast that March. "I'm certainly going to try in the coming months to merit the honor you've bestowed upon me, because I understand that if I win this 2 years in a row, I get to keep Mr. Boynton," she joked. She was also a hit with the critics. A winter 1949 poll of newspaper and magazine radio editors by Motion Picture Daily named her the year's best radio comedian. Arden had a very brief guest appearance in a 1955 I Love Lucy episode titled L.A. at Last, where she played herself. While awaiting their food at the Brown Derby, Lucy Ricardo and Ethel Mertz argue over whether a certain portrait on a nearby wall is Shelley Winters or Judy Holliday. Lucy urges Ethel to ask a lady occupying the next booth, who turns and replies, "Neither." That's Eve Arden. As Ethel realizes she just spoke to Arden herself, Arden passes Lucy and Ethel's table to leave the restaurant while the pair gawk. Desilu Productions, jointly owned by Desi Arnaz and Ball during their marriage, was the production company for the Our Miss Brooks television show, filmed during the same years as I Love Lucy. Ball and Arden met when they co-starred in the film Stage Door in 1937. Ball, according to numerous radio historians, suggested Arden for Our Miss Brooks after Shirley Booth auditioned for but failed to land the role, and Ball, committed at the time to My Favorite Husband, could not. Arden tried another series for CBS in the fall of 1957, The Eve Arden Show, but it was cancelled in spring of 1958 after 26 episodes. In 1966, she played Nurse Kelton in an episode of Bewitched. She later co-starred with Kay Ballard as her neighbor and in-law, Eve Hubbard, in the 1967 to 1969 NBC situation comedy The Mothers-in-Law, produced by Arnaz after the dissolution of Desilu Productions. In her later career, Arden made appearances on such television shows as Bewitched, Alice, Maude, Heart to Heart, and Falcon Crest. In 1985, she appeared as the wicked stepmother in the fairy tale theater production of Cinderella. Stage. Arden was one of many actresses to take on the title roles in Hello, Dolly! And Auntie Mame in the 1960s. In 1967, she won the Sarah Siddons Award for her work in Chicago theater. Arden was cast in 1983 as the leading lady in what was to be her Broadway comeback in Moose Murders, but she wisely withdrew and was replaced with the much younger Holland Taylor after one preview performance, citing artistic differences. The show went on to open and close on the same night, becoming known as one of the most legendary flops in Broadway history. Arden published an autobiography, The 3 Phases of Eve, in 1985. In addition to her Academy Award nomination, Arden has 2 stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, radio and television. She was inducted into the National Radio Hall of Fame in 1995. Personal life. Arden was married to Ned Bergen from 1939 to 1947, had an extended relationship with Danny Kaye through the 1940s, and was married to actor Brooks West from 1952 until his death in 1984 from a brain hemorrhage at age 67. Arden adopted 1 child with Bergen, adopted her second child on her own as a single mother, adopted her third child with West, and gave birth to her youngest at age 46 in 1954. All 4 survived their parents. Death. On November 12, 1990, Arden died from cardiac arrest and arteriosclerotic heart disease, aged 82, at her home, according to her death certificate. She was cremated, her ashes buried in the Westwood Village Memorial Park Cemetery, Westwood, Los Angeles, California.